Hello, my name is Pastor Kris Kollar. I'm the pastor of Pleasant Valley Lutheran Church near Balabar Farm and St. Paul Lutheran Church in Lucas, Ohio. Greetings. We are reading through the Bible with commentary. We are in the book of 2 Samuel, and as we've said, Samuel was originally one book written in ancient Hebrew, but then eventually got translated into Greek when the whole world spoke Greek. And when it did, it got divided into two scrolls. And the first scroll ended with the death of King Saul. And it is not an automatic thing that David then becomes king. Although, as we read yesterday, he became king over the southern portion, over Judah, which was a very large clan and a large area to the southern part of what eventually became all of Israel. So they'll refer to Israel as the northern part and Judah as the southern part. And at this point, the Philistines are raiding and attacking and sometimes controlling major portions of the area. So there's even more where it's not exactly a united kingdom. And as I was reading yesterday, I was like, who was Zeruiah? Zeruiah is the father of Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. And I was like, wait, who was Zeruiah? Zeruiah is Joab's father. And Joab, Abishai, and Asahel are part of the followers of David. He had about 600 men following him, as well as their wives and children. And then Abner was the head of the army for King Saul. And after King Saul's death, Abner really is the power, and he sets up King Ishbaal to be in charge of the northern kingdom. So we were reading yesterday, or whenever was the last time that this was posted, that there was a fight, and they were like, let's just have the young men fight, and they all killed each other. And then there was chasing, and Joab's brother Asahel was chasing Abner, and Abner was like, no, you don't want to kill you. But then he ended up running into the butt end of his spear, and he ran into it so hard that it actually went out the other side. So Asahel gets killed by Abner, and his two brothers, Joab and Abishai, go chasing after Abner until they finally was like, okay, wait, we need to just stop because everybody's just going to die. We need to stop. So that's where we kind of left off the last time. Now we are in chapter 3 of 2 Samuel. There was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. David grew stronger and stronger, while the house of Saul became weaker and weaker. Sons were born to David at Hebron. His firstborn was Ammon of Ahinoam of Jezreel. His second, Chileab of Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel. The third, Absalom of Maacah, daughter of King Talmai of Geshur. And later we will be hearing about Absalom. And somebody said, well, maybe Absalom is so pushy because he's the son of a daughter of a king. So he thinks, well, I'm royalty. But I don't know if I buy that. Talmai of Geshur. The fourth, Adonijah, son of Haggith. The fifth, Shephatiah, son of Abithal. The sixth, Ithream of David's wife Eglah. These were born to David at Hebron. So he's up to 6 wives, and that's not counting Michal, who he's originally given. And they've each got at least one son. While there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, Abner was making himself strong in the house of Saul. Now Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, daughter of Aiah. And Ishbaal said to Abner, why have you gone into my father's concubine? The word of Ishbaal made Abner very angry. He said, am I a dog's head for Judah? Today I keep showing loyalty to the house of your father Saul, to his brothers, and to his friends, and have not given you into the hand of David. Yet you charge me now with a crime concerning this woman. So here's Abner, who's the head of the army, very powerful person. He really has put Ishbaal into his position as king, and now Ishbaal is accusing him of going into his, in other words, making out with, is another euphemism for having sex with, his father's concubine, Rizpah. And so he's like, what? Am I a dog? Why are you attacking me? I'm the one that put you into power. Why are you attacking me like this? Verse 9, so may God do to Abner, this is Abner speaking, so may God do to Abner and so may he add to it, for just what the Lord has sworn to David, that I will accomplish for him, to transfer the kingdom from the house of Saul and set up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan to Beersheba. And Ishbaal could not answer Abner another word because he feared him. So Abner is so ticked off by this accusation that he's like, fine, I'm going to put David in, and I'm going to be the one to make it happen because I can do that. I'm very ticked off at you, and I'm going to make this happen. Verse 12, Abner sent messages to David at Hebron, saying, to whom does the land belong? Make your covenant with me, and I will give you my support to bring all Israel over to you. He said, good, I will make a covenant with you, but one thing I require of you. You shall never appear in my presence unless you bring Saul's daughter Michal when you come to see me. So, yes, I'll make a deal with you, but hey, my first wife who saved my life and helped me escape from her father was then given to somebody else, and she was my wife, and I want her back. And this is a good way of knowing that you're for sure on my side if you bring me Michal, the daughter of Saul. Then David sent messengers to Saul's son Ishbaal, saying, give me my wife Michal, to whom I became engaged at the price of 100 foreskins of the Philistines. Ishbaal sent and took her from her husband Paltiel, the son of Laish. But her husband went with her, weeping as he walked behind her all the way to Bahurim. Then Abner said to him, go back home. So he went back. This is so hard. It's like Michal was David's wife. David has 6 other wives. David wants her back. She is having to live her life as a political pawn. Her father gave her to marriage to David, and then when David escaped, he gave her away to somebody else, and now she's being taken from that husband who apparently loves her very much and given back to David, who wants her probably mostly for political reasons. So poor Michal. Poor Paltiel, for that matter. Verse 17, Abner sent word to the elders of Israel, saying, for some time past you have been seeking David as king over you. Now then, bring it about, for the Lord has promised David, through my servant David, I will save my people Israel from the hand of the Philistines and from all their enemies. Abner also spoke directly to the Benjaminites. Then Abner went to tell David at Hebron all that Israel and the whole house of Benjamin were ready to do. So Abner is leaving the side of King Saul and going to the side of King David and making lots of things happen. When Abner came with 20 men to David at Hebron, David made a feast for Abner and the men who were with him. Abner said to David, let me go and rally all Israel to my lord the king, in order that they may make a covenant with you, and that you may reign over all that your heart desires. So David dismissed Abner, and he went away in peace. But Abner killed Joab's brother Asahel. Verse 22, just then the servants of David arrived with Joab from a raid, bringing much spoil with them. But Abner was not with David at Hebron, for David had dismissed him, and he had gone away in peace. When Joab and all the army that was with him came, it was told to Joab, Abner son of Ner came to the king, and he has dismissed him, and he has gone away in peace. Then Joab went to the king and said, what have you done? Abner came to you. Why did you dismiss him so that he got away? You know that Abner son of Ner came to deceive you, to learn your comings and goings, and learn all that you are doing. So Joab is very hateful toward Abner, who killed his brother, and does not believe that he's switched sides. Verse 26. When Joab came out from David's presence, he sent messengers after Abner, and they brought him back from the cistern of Sirah. But David did not know about it. When Abner returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gateway to speak with him privately, and there he stabbed him in the stomach. So he died for shedding the blood of Asahel, Joab's brother. Because you kill my brother, I kill you. It's still the Old Testament. It's still a culture of vengeance and eye for eye. You killed one, you immediate capital punishment, even though He killed his brother in war, and his brother had been chasing after Abner, and Abner was like, I don't want to kill you, stop chasing me. It doesn't matter. He killed Asahel, so Joab kills Abner. So he died for shedding the blood of Asahel, Joab's brother. Verse 28. Afterward, when David heard of it, he said, I and my kingdom are forever guiltless before the Lord for the blood of Abner son of Ner. May the guilt fall on the head of Joab and on all his father's house. And may the house of Joab never be without one who has a discharge, or who is leprous, or who holds a spindle, or who falls by the sword, or who lacks food. So Joab and his brother Abishai murdered Abner because he had killed their brother Asahel in the battle of Gibeon. Verse 31. Then David said to Joab and to all the people who were with him, Tear your clothes and put on sackcloth and mourn over Abner. And King David followed the bier. They buried Abner in Hebron. The king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept. The king lamented for Abner, saying, Should Abner die as a fool dies? Your hands were not bound, your feet were not fettered. As one falls before the wicked, you have fallen. And all the people wept over him again. So Abner was a strong political person, had decided he was going to assist David. David had made peace with him, and then on his way to go do all of that, Joab kills him. And David makes a very big show of the fact that I didn't do this, I'm innocent, and I'm grieving, because he wants it made very clear he is not responsible for the death of Abner. He's trying to gain political power for all of the people in the north that Abner was going to get for him. Verse 35, Then all the people came to persuade David to eat something while it was still day. But David swore, saying, So may God do to me and more, if I taste bread or anything else before the sun goes down. All the people took notice of it, and it pleased them, just as everything the king did pleased all the people. So all the people and all Israel understood that day that the king had no part in the killing of Abner son of Ner. And the king said to his servants, Do you not know that a prince and a great man has fallen this day in Israel? Today I am powerless, even though anointed king. These men, the sons of Zeruiah, are too violent for me. The king pay back the one who does wickedly in accordance with his wickedness. Chapter 4. When Saul's son, Ishbaal, heard that Abner had died at Hebron, his courage failed, and all Israel was dismayed, because Ishbaal was put into power by Abner, and Abner was the head of his army, and now he's gone. Verse 2. Saul's son had two captains of raiding bands. The name of the one was Baanah, and the other was Rechab. They were sons of Rimmon, a Benjaminite from Beeroth, for Beeroth is considered to belong to Benjamin. Now the people of Beeroth had fled to Gittaim and are there as resident aliens to this day. Verse 4. Saul's son Jonathan had a son who was crippled in his feet. He was 5 years old when the news about Saul and Jonathan came from Jezreel. His nurse picked him up and fled, and in her haste to flee, it happened that he fell and became lame. His name was Mephibosheth. Now the sons of Rimmon, the Beerothite, Rechab and Baanah, set out, and about the heat of the day they came to the house of Ishbaal while he was taking his noonday rest. They came inside the house as though to take wheat, and they struck him in the stomach. Then Rechab and his brother Baanah escaped. Now they had come into the house while he was lying on his couch in his bedchamber. They attacked him, killed him, and beheaded him. Then they took his head and traveled by way of the Arabah all night long. They brought the head of Ishbaal to David at Hebron, and said to the king, Here is the head of Ishbaal, son of Saul, your enemy, who sought your life. The Lord has avenged my lord the king this day on Saul and on his offspring. So the two heads of Ishbaal's people, who were raiding other enemies, basically go kill him, cut off his head, and say, okay, David's going to be on our side because we killed the king, and now David is cleared to become the king. Verse 9, David answered Rechab and his brother Baanah, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, "As the Lord lives, who has redeemed my life out of every adversity, when the one who told me, 'See, Saul is dead,' thought he was bringing good news, I seized him and killed him at Ziklag. This was the reward I gave him for his news. How much more then, when wicked men have killed a righteous man on his bed in his own house? And now shall I not require his blood at your hand, and destroy you from the earth?" So David commanded the young men, and they killed them. They cut off their hands and feet, hung their bodies beside the pool at Hebron. But the head of Ishbaal they took and buried at the tomb of Abner in Hebron. So you thought you were giving me good news by killing the king, and now I can be king. But no, you killed an innocent man in his bed, and the punishment for that is death. So they are now killed. So a bloody couple of chapters with lots of people doing lots of murders, and David being like, "I didn't do it, I'm innocent," and trying to be a righteous person before God and before the people. But now, as we will read in our next session, the way has been cleared. David is about to become King David over all of Israel, the north, as well as Judah in the south, the whole thing. So we will read about that next time. I'm trying to think of how does one apply all this political intrigue, or maybe just the fact that political intrigue is nothing new. Literally for thousands and thousands of years, there's been people who are after power and who will do all kinds of machinations and things to try to consolidate power, and who are perfectly willing to kill somebody and perfectly willing to do whatever to get themselves into a position of power. Even if it's underneath somebody else, that they're like, "Oh, well, I'll do this, and then that person will like me, and they will have more power, and I'll therefore have more power as well." And of course, that is not what God has called us to do. We are called to serve God and serve his people, not to be looking for power, not to be trying to get more power, not to be practicing political intrigue and machinations and trying to make things happen. They're just not appropriate. So now David has 7 wives and is about to become king over all of Israel, which we will hear next time. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look at you with favor and give you peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Go in peace. Like, subscribe, comment. Thanks so much for being here, and we will see you next time. Bye.